Hello and welcome to another episode of the Super Six podcast with myself, Laura Woods. And usually at this point, I would be introducing the larger-than-life Bayo, but he has deserted me this week. He's taking an extra long ice bath, longer than the ones he normally takes, which are extraordinarily long. So he's not here. I cannot believe it. So he's letting me fly solo, which, I will get him back for at some point. Not only has he mugged me off and said that Dave Jones is a better presenter than me, he's also just dropping me last minute for ice baths and all that. So, we'll sort it out privately, potentially. Hopefully he'll be back next week and we can get back in together and I can ask him all loads of questions about how is it sitting on the bench in the Championship. So anyway, this week we have another very special guest. I'm really excited about this one. It's a Fulham player. And at the moment, if you've been watching Fulham or following their results, you'll know that they are on an upward trajectory. That's really difficult for me to say, upward trajectory. That's much better. But you'll know what I mean. I covered their game this weekend at Liverpool and it was quite special, actually, to be honest. They just had some fight in them and some spirit, which I found really impressive. So I'm very excited to talk to our next guest, who's going to tell us what's like in the change room at the moment. He's not playing, he's getting himself back to fitness, but he knows all about what it takes to be a Premier League footballer, and he's coming up now. Okay, here he is. This week's guest is Fulham's club captain. It is Mr. Tom Cairney. Hello, Tom. How you doing?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, not too bad. Thank you so much for joining me. I would say us, but Bayo's not here. And I'm sure you can imagine, the old boy's body is not what it used to be. And there's a lot of fixtures in the Championship, lots of training sessions. So, he's feeling a bit sorry for himself, I think.
Yeah, he's probably in the ice bath.
That's exactly what I said in the introduction.
Is it? Oh, okay.
It's literally exactly what I said. Okay. Oh, bless him. No, I do feel sorry for him because I know he would have enjoyed this. And I enjoy it every time he's in because we always talk to these guests. And the bit I always say I love about working with Bayo is that everyone remembers a time that they've played against him. And he rarely remembers a time that he played against them. But he's like, when was that then? What year was that? Everyone always remembers him. Have you got a story about him or a time that you played against him?
I only played. Do you know what the weird thing is? The last time I played against him was an international break friendly, and that's how I got injured.
No way.
Yeah, literally in October. Him. In October, that's how I did my injury against Wickham, and he came on in the second half. So yeah, it's not good memories really.
He was nowhere near you at the time you got injured.
No, it wasn't.
Good.
It wasn't his fault. I'd gone nowhere near him. Don't worry about that.
I bet you don't. Sorry about that, but obviously, like at the moment, in terms of your recovery, there's light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Hopefully, maybe back in the squad this week or next week. So definitely light at the tunnel. It's been a bad 2 months personally, but the team have done really well of late, and it's been a joy to watch. A little bit jealous, really, of the way they've been playing and the way they've been just like come together. Really, like the defensive record's been amazing. I think only Man City have conceded less goals than us in 15, 16 games, which is astonishing, really, for a promoted side.
It is amazing. I wanted to ask you about how this has come about because that was a problem at one point, wasn't it? And now all of a sudden it just seems to have completely solidified. I did the game at Anfield at the weekend and I was looking into your defensive record and it was something like in the last 6 Premier League games you'd only let in 2 goals and kept 4 clean sheets or something like that.
Yeah.
Mad, isn't it?
It's weird because I've been here 6 years now and we've always conceded goals. We've always scored goals, but we've always conceded goals. So it's the first time in my career at Fulham, really, that the touch wood says that, but that we've been defensively solid, and I think that's what's key to keeping you in the Premier League. Really, I think that's where we let ourselves down a little bit 2 years ago, a little bit naive, and we conceded a hell of a lot of goals. And you're not going to score 2 or 3 goals like we do in the Championship to win games. So we've definitely turned the corner.
There's something else as well that I wanted to ask you about that you just get a feeling of Fulham at the moment. And I work with a lot of people, and obviously whenever we're working on TalkSport, we have to talk about relegation all the time and top 4 and all these different ramifications of what's happening. And for a while now, it's felt like Fulham have started to just move in the right direction. And it's not just the defence, it must be as well partially something to do with the belief that you have in the team, because at Anfield that day, when everybody turned up, we all did our pre-match interviews, interviewed the managers, interviewed the players. There was something about your team and your players that felt like you were going to win it. And I can't explain it. It's strange, isn't it? I just wonder where you think it's come from.
I think it starts at the top. I think the manager and the coaching staff have got to take a lot of credit. I mean, the manager, he came in 12 games or something towards the end of the Premier League season and got relegated, and we won 3 in a row, and like he turned it around. And then we went from a losing mentality in the pre-season to like a winning mentality, but we bounced straight back. And I don't think a lot of teams that get relegated bounce straight back. I mean, Norwich look like they're going to do it this season, but in history, I don't think a lot do it. And I think that comes from him. He changed the culture of the club, the mentality. Training is intense day to day, and I think to do what we've done this season with a lot of loan players as well. So when you get a lot of loan players, it's sometimes hard to gel. And I think you've seen, well, especially December time, things started to really gel together. And I think it comes from the top. And we've just really carried it on. And I think momentum's key as well. So I think we're on as you say, an amazing run. And hopefully we'll finish the last 10 games strong and stay in this league.
All the ex-players that work in media now that know him have like spent time with him, played with him or played against him, all say the same thing about Scott Parker. They're always like, he's a top lad.
Yeah.
What's he like as a manager though? Like what does he do that gives you that faith?
I just think it's the same day to day, whether we win or lose. I think that's key. I think he never gets too high, he never gets too low. And I think he's a realist. I think we had a meeting when we was 10 points behind the safety. I think it was way before the Everton game, and he literally said to us, "Look, if I didn't believe that you could get out of this, and we had enough, like if we didn't have enough inside these 4 walls, then I honestly wouldn't be here." And I think we believe him, and we believe we've got enough. And I think when you have someone like that leading you, I think first of all you don't want to let him down, and then second of all he makes you believe as well. So. Look, we've still got a long way to go. I'm not saying we're out of anything, but I think people are starting to talk about Fulham in a positive light, and it's not really been like that for a long time.
There was something else as well that I think caught the public's imagination at the weekend. It wasn't just like the way that he played and the goal that he scored. It was Scott Parker's coat.
I know. I got sent so many pictures, sometimes of his grey coat and the memes and stuff. Social media don't miss a thing, I swear.
It's mad, isn't it? So while I was at the game, and this is the worst thing, and like obviously if you're listening, don't tell him and don't tell him either. But like while I was at the game, I was getting sent memes of him. And I was like, wow. And it was like Zoolander memes and all these different things, and I was like, well, how am I supposed to do a post-match interview? And all I wanted to do at the end, if it had been any other show, if it was this or if it was TalkSport, I would have just tagged it on the end and just said, anyway, tell us, where'd you get the coat? Where's the inspiration? Like, someone asked me to ask him if it was his wife. So I was like, unbelievable. I cannot do this. But he does. Also, before the game even started, I was standing there with Jamie Carragher and we looked at him and both went, he's quite stylish. It was before the coat came out. We were like, he's quite stylish. And Jamie was like, yeah, you can tell he thinks about it. We were like, he does, doesn't he? And is he stylish like every day? What does he come to training in?
It's quite like that, you know. He likes a lot of navy. And navy is his favourite colour, I'd say, which was quite surprising. Normally he wears a navy coat, but the first time he wore the grey coat at Anfield, and I bet he was going to wear it at the weekend.
It's a lucky charm now.
Probably a bit superstitious, like all people in football are. So I can guarantee you'll probably see it at the weekend.
I really hope it comes back out again. Do you think he's aware of it? Is he aware of the attention it garnered?
I think so, yeah. I think he's got kids as well, so I think they'll definitely have social media and like, Dad, have you seen yourself here? Twitter and Instagram's crazy.
Oh, I love it. Maximum respect for him, by the way. I'm not taking the mick. Just relaying what they were saying on social media, that's all. Yeah. Let's talk about you then, because your career has been really interesting actually, and where you all started. Tell us about the early days. So tell us about Leeds. You're 16 and what you were told by them and how tough that was to take.
Leeds was a massive part of my life from the age of 7 till 16. And at the time when I was young, I lived in Nottingham, and they helped me kind of help my family move from Nottingham to Leeds. Wow. To get closer to the training ground, which sounds crazy. Like as an 8, 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy, you just think you're doing whatever. But if I could go back and tell my mum and dad, I tell my mum and dad not to leave their family, not to leave their friends just for a 9-year-old, because he's really good at football at 9 years old. It's just crazy. I could just play for Nottingham Forest, but at the time Leeds was in the Champions League, like the first team, and the academy setup's amazing. And I think my mum and dad obviously seen something special, and they just kind of followed that, which is mental. But anyway.
Nice, Matt. Have you got brothers and sisters that came as well?
Yeah, I had a sister, and I think we moved when my mum was pregnant as well with my brother. So, and my dad didn't have a job either. So,
wow, that's a sacrifice, isn't it?
Yeah. So no pressure. Yeah.
So then you must have been like, I cannot imagine influencing my family. What age did you say you were?
I moved when I was like 9, I think.
9. There was nothing that I was good at 9 years old, enough that would change the way that my family lived or where they lived. That's incredible.
It was so serious from such a young age, honestly.
Did you still enjoy it?
See, this is the thing. I don't think I've seen it as a job, I think, from that kind of age. I think that's how I felt. Like, I took games and training that seriously. But it was all fine, I think, until I got to like say 13, 14, where teenagers start to change and grow and develop into like young men. But I think I was a late developer, and I think that's where I kind of fell behind. So like normally in youth football, the strongest and fastest always win, and then as you get older, everything catches up and it goes back to football. But I think those are hard 2 years, 14 to 16, and I was used to being kind of the main man, as you say, at academy level, and to like kind of bottom of the pecking order, just because I was just a little boy really, and I struggled to keep up. And when the academy director told my mum after a game, I think it was Newcastle away, that I wouldn't be getting offered a scholarship. It was crazy. It's like your whole world comes crushing down, because it's all I knew since 7 till 16, and obviously I gave a lot to Leeds United. I love Leeds. I honestly loved it. And it was just especially the effort you put in, obviously moving house and stuff like that. So it was horrible.
So what happens then? The club basically say, we don't think that you're going to develop into what we want you to, and they release you. So who tells you it, and then where'd you go?
My mum told me in the car on the way home from a game when she was crying. She told me she cried, but she's emotional like that. She's emotional.
Us women are like that.
Yeah,
come on.
She's emotional, but I didn't actually cry. But obviously I was, upset / don't know, just feel like let down after everything. I've kind of gave the club for 10 years, whatever. But it happens to hundreds and hundreds of boys. But I think that's where you need a strong family around you. And I think my dad was key in that. He was like, listen, you just need a little bit of time to grow, to catch up, and then everything will go back to how it was when you was younger. And I listened to him, and Hull City gave me them 2 years. They gave me the scholarship, and I played in the Premier League 2.5 years later. It's crazy.
That is mad, isn't it? Because 16 is a really tender age to be let down like that, to have something like that broke to you, because it's the kind of swing age, isn't it? Where like, if it doesn't go the way you want it to.
There's a lot of distractions. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
And you must have already by 16 made your own sacrifices as well. It's like you say, that there's so many distractions and temptations when you're younger.
Yeah, of course. I think just school in general is I think when you're teenagers hard. And I mean, you ain't doing what your friends are doing on Friday nights, walking around the park. You know what I mean? But at the time, that's everything. That's like all I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's doing it, but you're not the one doing it, because I've got training on a Saturday morning.
Tom, I did it, and you're not missing anything. Okay,
look,
don't worry about it. Like, I've spent my nights in the parks with a bottle of vodka, and you're not missing anything. Don't worry about it.
Okay, but at the time, I felt like I was, and then when you get released, you're like, oh, we may as well have done it anyway.
Exactly. Did you for a little while? You're like, I'm just going to go see what this is like.
A little bit angry. I was like, what's the point of sacrificed all this, sacrificed that? But it didn't take long. It didn't take me long to get my head back around it. And it's just opinions. Football's all about opinions, and opinions don't define anything.
Did you do some work experience as well in a bank?
Who told you that?
I can't tell you. I can't reveal my sources.
Yeah, this is true. I don't know where you heard this, but this is true. It was an absolute nightmare. I had to catch the school bus with a suit and tie, like a shirt and tie, because it was close to my school, and my dad went to work, so we didn't have a car. So it was the only way to get there, so I felt like a bit of an idiot.
Oh, and then, did you have a suitcase?
Briefcase, yeah.
Sorry, not a suitcase, not like you were leaving.
A briefcase.
A briefcase as well.
Yeah, so I got called the name in-betweeners from the in-betweeners. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. But it was difficult. 9 to 5, just long. So yeah, it was something that I knew I didn't want to do, so I had to do something in football.
But you got to do that sometimes, haven't you? Just to kind of like say you've dipped the toe and seem like I did work experience in my auntie's hotel. And I was like, this is going to be great fun. It's going to be amazing. She literally had me cleaning toilets for a week, like cleaning bathrooms. And I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore.
That's not you.
It's not me, is it? Like,
No,
I gave it a good go. Like I work hard, but I was like, that's why I did everything to actually do a career that I wanted to do. But sometimes it's like, we joke, but sometimes it does take that, doesn't it? For you to kind of go, right,
kick up the backside a little bit exactly. As well.
So then basically you went to Hull. So this was 2007. You signed a youth contract there, a couple of years there. And you said that it gave you a lot, those sort of developmental years. What sort of things did it teach you?
Well, I moved into digs at 16, lived with a family. So honestly, my teenage years are bad.
Oh my God.
So I lived with another family. So can you imagine that? So I had a little bedroom. And my first experience at digs wasn't very good, you know. She said I had too many baths, so she took the plug. She hid the plug.
What?
She hid
How
the
many
plug,
baths were you having?
Just one a night, just to pass
one
time.
A night?
Yeah. I'm having 3 a day.
Hang on a minute. You're having one a night?
So she hid the plug.
How many people were living in this family?
The mum, the dad, they had a son, and then I had a teammate who lived with me, so that helped me a little bit. But we had to be fair, she shared a floor with her son, and then it wasn't very good. Yeah.
Were you using all the hot water? Is that what she was annoyed about?
Oh yeah, but come on, I don't know what else am I gonna do. I just did it to pass time, honestly, just have a nice bath. But
so she hit the plug.
She hit the plug, yeah.
That's ridiculous. So at that point, were you like, this isn't working?
This isn't working, and then I ended up moving digs and living with this wonderful, wonderful woman that I still speak to now. She texts me before every game, and it was just me and her. It was like I won't call her old lady in case she listens to this, but she was an older lady, and she was amazing. She drove me everywhere, cooked dinners, and she was a big Hull City fan at the time. And it was just me and her. Just used to watch chick flicks at night time and just.
That's so nice.
I know. Still speak to her every week. She takes me for every game.
How does that happen? Who, for example, for her to say, right, I want to do this, I want to effectively house a young player. How does that happen?
I don't know. I think she must just get in contact with the club, or she's seen it advertised. I have no idea. But
I love that, because what she gets out of that is probably more than you could ever imagine. Maybe now that you're older and you're a dad now, aren't you?
Yes.
So now you probably is that hard? Is that harder than football?
Honestly, a 1-year-old in lockdown is not the answer to anything. You
had to learn how to really entertain them.
Yeah, it's been difficult. Yeah, it's amazing, but it's hard. I understand what my mum went through now and stuff. So yeah, it's been rewarding, but it's challenging.
I bet that is. So that's wow. So your lockdown. How old was your baby is 1 now? Or?
He had his first birthday in the first lockdown. So there's potential he could have his second birthday in lockdown as well. So.
Wow. Has that been quite hard? Because the socialising side of that?
Yeah, I think so. Massively for him. I think I take him, I feel sorry for him, to be fair. I take him to the park now and he sees kids and then he just stands this for 30 minutes until he warms up. Do you know what I mean?
Because he doesn't know what they are.
Because he's not been around anyone, and obviously not seen my family, and it's been awful. But I'm sure everyone else has as well.
I suppose in many ways as well, it's kind of good that he's that young, because you never remember it really, and he'll get out of that so quickly. I mean, I'm giving you advice as if I know how to look after children, and I have a.
At least I don't have to homeschool because he's not at that age.
That's very true, to be fair. It kind of brings me on nicely to my next point about Jimmy Bullard, because we're sort of taking the leaf out of babies and that sort of thing, and Jimmy Bullard is much like a large baby, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a child. Yeah.
What was it like with him? When you were playing and you were young?
Such an eye-opener, and probably it was amazing to be around at 19 years old, him being a senior pro, and just watching him around the place day to day, bouncing off walls. He was literally the light and soul of the training ground. He didn't really play many games because he had a really bad knee at the time, but as a young boy, if I'm honest, I looked up to him. Obviously, been in the England squad and stuff, and it was just great to be around. Everyone else says the same.
His energy levels are incredible. So I obviously know him from Sky, and I've never seen him low at all.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is weird. It is very weird.
It's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
TV is perfect for him, to be fair. What was he like? Did he give you? Is like a kind of arm around the shoulder with you at all,
He
or
did. He did sometimes. I think he. You can ask him, but I think he took to me a little bit. I think he looked at. He did like rate me as a player, a young player, and he used to tell me and try and give me a little bit of advice. It's hard to listen to his advice sometimes. 'Cause I'd never take him seriously. But yeah, it was really really good with me, and we've always stayed in touch. Really, I think that's why I've been on Soccer AM a couple of times because of him and stuff like that.
so tell us about basically you got promoted to the Premier League, and then you left for Blackburn,
Mm.
and what was it like? What were those kind of celebrations like for you? And then did you know that you were going to be leaving the club, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I had an idea because I got injured. I'd say for like the first third of the season, really, that we got promoted in and was at the top of the league. So I came back from injury and I was literally just coming off the bench and stuff like that. So I wasn't really like a massive factor in the promotion thing with Steve Bruce. I was just like a squad player. And I was still like 21 at the time, I think. So as I came back for pre-season, obviously there's going to be more players coming in, Premier League players. So, and I think at that age, I think I needed like a full season under my belt. So I think in hindsight, it was the best thing for me. And I think moving to Blackburn really helped me grow up and yeah, literally get a full championship season under my belt. And it was a really good one as well. So I won Player of the Year at Blackburn, and it just kind of set me up for the last eight years that I've had, really.
And when you are like a really big figure in something like that, a time at a club, I suppose for you as well, by the sounds of it, you've been on the move quite a lot, or you got settled in one place, moved to another. Like you say, like it didn't feel like you had much to do with it. So then having such an influential role in a club at a really positive time, you just said it really set you up. How does that work?
I just think it's just literally go from like a kind of boy to a man playing week in, week out, playing 45 games a season. And I think once you have that in your legs and in your mind, I think it's easy to replicate. I think year on year, and I honestly loved it at Blackburn. It was amazing, but I have a little bit of regret because I feel like the squad that we had, I think we should have kind of made the playoffs. I think if you look at some of the players that was there, like say Josh King now, Michael Keane who's at Everton, we had Jordan Rhodes who was on fire. I just think, yeah, we could have got in the top six and maybe should have done.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because I was looking at who you played with as well, and you mentioned there like Michael Keane, Joshua King,
Yeah,
Scott Dann, Paul Robinson, David
yeah,
Dunn, like some
yeah,
big characters.
crazy, yeah,
And
yeah.
and like you say, you feel like it was almost like you underachieved what potentially you could have done.
I think I definitely think we did underachieve. I suppose me, Josh King, and Michael Keane was a little bit. We was young, but I think we had enough to definitely get in the top six. And yeah, I think looking back, if that's one of my regrets really, because the manager was amazing for me. So I just wish we could have done that for him really.
What was the dressing room like? Because there were other big characters as well, like Ben Marshall in there as well. What was
Ben Marshall? Oh my God, we lived in like the same apartment block, so we used to share rides to training and stuff. So we used to do a few off the field activities together as well, which I can't really talk about.
Like what?
Just go out together, obviously.
What, down the park?
In Manchester. We used to live in central Manchester, then go to drive to
Oh my God.
So he won't mind me saying, like, not me, I wasn't like this, but he was a little bit old school. And I think he was like he should have been born in the George Best era, I swear. Because he could.
Say no more.
He won't mind me saying this. He won't mind me saying, but he used to like go to the Paul Best way after training, have a few maybe, and turn up to training not in the best condition, but he used to sit in the sauna, sweat it out a little bit, and then go train. And I don't know how he did it. I swear, he used to ask me about it. I was like, no chance. I didn't mind a night. No, I didn't mind a night out, but I couldn't sit in the pub in an afternoon. No way.
I know what you mean. So like he almost had like a kind of different mentality. Like his thing was going and sitting in the pub and having a pint. That was his wind down.
So different. Yeah, he just enjoyed it. He had a lot of friends around like the Worsley area because he was from Manchester. He had loads of friends. So I think that's what they did. And he loved it. And do you know what I mean? He had a great time.
He was an old soul. That's the way of putting it.
That's what I'm trying to say. He won't mind me saying that either.
Did you have a good relationship with Jordan Rhodes?
Yeah. Yeah, I knew him before I came to Blackburn because of Scotland under-21s, and he's honestly the nicest guy in football. I don't know if you ever met him, but he will never change it, and he's just like so polite. I don't think I've ever heard him swear.
Really?
I swear, just the nicest guy, and yeah, what a goal scorer as well. At the time, he was flying.
It's really hard to tell whether, when you say like really polite footballers, when you come across them, normally everyone's quite polite and you can't tell whether it's like their media relationship or whether they're genuinely polite in real life.
No,
So
he's
that's good to
genuine.
know. Okay, I'll write that one down. Let's talk about Fulham. So you signed for Fulham in 2015. What was it that attracted you to Fulham? Because I know like there's a lot of people that say that there's something about playing for a London club that will do its selling for it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, massively. I think massively. I was 24, 25 at the time, and Fulham was only it was only the second year out of the Premier League, and basically all my lifetime, or the biggest stage of my lifetime, there's always in the Premier League. I had amazing players, Berbatov, like the manager obviously, and I mean Darren Bent was there, Sidwell. So like to me, there was always a Premier League club. So when they was interested, I was like, oh my god, like get me. Like I'm really interested in this. Like get me down there, live London life, which has always interested me. And yes, it's a beautiful place of London as well. It's literally next to Chelsea, as you know. I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I live here too.
The restaurants, coffee shops, I miss it. But yeah, so I was like, wow. And yeah, when it happened, it was just an amazing change for me. And yeah, I've loved it. And obviously, I'm 6 years in.
So in those 6 years, you've experienced a lot with the club.
Too much stress.
Yeah. So it's like, how many promotions? Is it 2?
2 promotions, 1 relegation, 1 semi-final playoff defeat. It's every year there's just something happening. And now we're in another relegation fight.
How stressful is that? I mean, we'll go back to all the good times, the bad times, the different managers, but to be in like a relegation battle for feels like a consistent period of time. How stressful is it, especially when you're on the sidelines for some of it?
Yeah, it's really, really difficult. I think no one wants a relegation on the CV. I think definitely that's the hardest time. I think 2018 was the hardest time for me. I think because the way we got promoted in the style that we did, I think everyone expected a lot of us. We spent a lot of money as well. I think we spent over 100 million, the first promotion team, to do it. And things just didn't go right from the start. And it's like when you go away in the summer after getting promoted at Wembley, you're like, oh, this could be like you're dreaming of what could happen in the season. And just literally, it went like I got injured. It went from bad to worse really. So I think that was the hardest time I've had at Fulham. Was definitely the 2018 season.
I remember there was a lot made about the 100 million spent and about whether or not they were the right players to bring in or just too many players to bring in to try and integrate them. Do you think what was it about spending that money?
See, I think the owners have been incredible because honestly they've tried to invest in the team every time, and we brought in a hell of a lot of players, but I think we brought a lot in deadline day as well. So I think it didn't give us much. It didn't give us like a pre-season to be together, and I think. If you don't hit the ground running, and then I think there's like I just don't think we gelled really. I think the team spirit wasn't right to stay in the league, and I think we was playing catch up from an early stage. And then obviously the manager I was quite close to had done a lot for me. Slavisa got the sack.
Yeah, Jukanovic.
Yeah, which is disappointing because I really think he was a top manager really. Do you know what I mean?
Tell me more about him. Listen to me. Tell me more, because a lot of people thought he was a great manager, and that was quite a shrewd sacking.
Yeah, it was. It was. He literally came into Fulham. We was like fighting relegation. Honestly, when he came in, stopped us from relegation, and we got in the playoffs the year after. But the football we played that we changed to the Fulham fans was the best in years and years. Like we played such an attractive brand of football and a lot of attacking and lots of goals. So for him to lose his job, I think in the Premier League quite soon. I think it was like maybe November time or October, November. I can't remember.
It was early doors, yeah.
Wasn't nice, and I feel like he didn't get to really show what he's capable of in this league.
And then it was Claudio Ranieri that came in, and that was an appointment. I think lots of people were like, "Wow, okay, that's interesting." What did he change when he came in? Did you guys like having him as a manager? Not nothing personal, just his sort
No,
of style.
I think a lot changed. I think a lot of the style of play definitely changed. I think it went from one extreme to the other. I think it was, as I said, it was quite open and fluid with Slavisa. And then Italian manager was very defensive, what they're famous for. And I mean, he won the league with Leicester. He's managed amazing teams and players. So we had a lot of respect for him. Like it's a big name. It was a massive name at the time. But it just didn't seem to work for us. I don't think. We won his first game in charge, and there was a bit of hope. But I think, it just kind of fizzled out really in the end, and was getting a little bit worse and worse. And that's when Scott Parker got the job.
We're sort of going back and forth. I'm messing up the timeline a little bit.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm remembering things that I want to ask you about, and I want to go back to it. The way that you got promoted, so like that fashion. So in the playoff final at Wembley against Villa, there's different ways to be promoted, obviously, automatically or via this way. Is there something special about doing it at Wembley?
It's the best way. If you can guarantee it, it's the best way. But it's the worst way to lose. So it's the best way to win and the worst way to lose. And plus, you lose 2 weeks holidays if you lose as well. And Championship normally starts before the Premier League, so you get even less time.
Oh.
So there's a lot riding on the game, I swear. But honestly, it was such a good day. I mean, the weather was so hot. It was a massive final. Aston Villa are a huge club. Like, they obviously sold out their allocation, and it was just an amazing day. It turned out to be John Terry's last game in football. It was a day I'll never forget, and one day my family will never forget either. It was amazing.
What was that Villa team like? So you mentioned like John Terry was in there, and obviously now we see Jack Grealish going from strength to strength. And what was it like playing against him?
They was very strong. I think they finished the season really strong as well. And Grealish was a danger man, obviously, and I think he's just gone strength to strength from that. And I'm not surprised either. He's got a lot of ability, and he doesn't really. You could argue he don't really play like an English player. He's very natural. He can beat players, protects the ball so well, and I'm glad to see he's doing what he's doing really, because I feel like there's been a lot of players come from the Championship who played in the Championship that have done really well in the Premier League. I mean, Ollie Watkins off the top of my head this season. So there's been a lot over the years. So it's amazing to see what he's doing in England shirt now as well, and hopefully he carries on.
Do you think, like, when you just said there, he doesn't play like an English player? And I know what you're saying as well, and it's kind of like his own style. Do you think he can go up a level? Do you think he can get better?
100%. I think is he 25? I don't know how old he is. But I think he can go from strength to strength, as I say. And what I mean by don't play like an English player, just he's quite off the cuff. He's a little bit. You never know what's going to happen. A little bit. He takes risks.
A bit maverick.
Yeah, a bit of a maverick. I think that's the right word. So he's very entertaining to watch, and I think that's why people love him.
So that way of getting promoted, and you're right, because I think it's funny, isn't it? You get a trophy for it, so like you win the playoff, but if you actually go automatically, you don't get anything. It's just like, all right, well done. Like, you've done really well, and we're bored of seeing you win, so you're automatically up. But doing it that way, and then coming into the Premier League, and then we've covered basically like. It's just when you look at like you in particular and what you've done at Fulham, like the ways that you got promoted, then relegated, then going through different managers, different styles of play, it must feel like there's just new challenges and you must just think, can I not just have a quiet season?
I did think this the other day, do you know that? I actually did think this. I thought, like, if I survive relegation this year, hopefully we will, I just want a mid-table season, please. Please. I just want a stress-free season, get to 40 points around like February time and February, March, and just have a nice finish, because this is just too much. I mean, even getting promoted in the playoffs last year in lockdown was crazy.
Yeah. How different was that?
Chalk and cheese. I can't explain it. The difference in the 2018 final and 2020. I mean, like, lifting a trophy at Wembley with no one there is mental. Honestly, you just hear everyone cheering behind you, and you're just looking at 90,000 red seats.
Does it feel like, the glitch in the FIFA game where they're like lifting?
A little bit.
No trophy, there's no one there. Is it just a bit? Do you have to kind of go, right, keep up a face? Obviously, you're really happy anyway.
No, I was really happy, but in a way though, it was satisfying, because you felt like you did it by yourself. Like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
the lockdown runs and stuff that was getting sent to like keep fit before we came back, and we played like 9 games in 3 or 4 weeks or something. It was crazy. So it was like you had to kind of like picture their moments of like getting promoted to motivate you. Do you know what I mean? So like to do that in the end was an amazing feeling.
We've spoken actually to a couple of Leeds players that were saying like the sort of levels of training that they were getting sent were obscene while they're in lockdown, where other clubs were kind of getting given a few weeks off or something like that. They felt like they were working harder. Is that what happened with you guys?
Yeah, we got sent a lot. A lot. Yeah, I think it would have been like Leeds. Yeah. But because of technology nowadays, the Strava app, I don't know if you've got it.
Yeah.
There's no hiding.
I don't use it. It's on my phone, but it's not been used.
There's no hiding. So like you can't just text the fitness coach saying, yeah, I did it. You have to like, it's literally like there, do you know what I mean? So it's just, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Strava's annoying, isn't it? Because like it's annoying for me because someone that I am friends with on Facebook that I haven't spoken to in 12 years will suddenly follow me and be like, right, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't want to tell you how far I've walked.
Yeah, you don't need that pressure either.
No, I don't need that pressure. No. And there's people that I work with that are like, oh, let's link up on Peloton. And I'm like, no, let's not. Like, I don't want you to know that I've done it for 5 minutes and got bored and got off. Like, I don't want people following you, but you don't have that luxury because your manager's probably on you all the time going, all right, so what's he done? When you come into training, do they like, at that time, did they look at all your stats and say, Tom, you could be a bit better here?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit at the time, yeah. It was such a weird phase.
Really weird.
But yeah, I'm so glad we did it.
Also, so like now we know, we've spoken about the fact that obviously that season you went up, we went back down, came up again through the playoff system, just making sure everyone stays with us. And this is now Scott Parker's time to really have a full season in the Premier League because he didn't get it the time before, obviously. Yeah. How hard was just the beginning part of that season, this season?
Yeah, it was a difficult start. I think, I think we conceded quite a few goals. We couldn't really find I think it was a while till we won. I think we beat West Brom in October time, I think, maybe. Yeah, can't remember. But yeah, it was definitely a difficult start. But as I said, that's the type of person he is. He never got too low. And he literally he believed we brought even more players in, got loan players, and things started to change. The performances was changing. Like we was never. Even when we wasn't winning, I remember some games, Sheffield United, West Ham away, like we missed a penalty in the last second to equalise.
Yeah. That was Lickman, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think everyone remembers that. Yeah. Just things like that though, but we was never getting battered. I think that was what the message he was keep saying was like, you're always in the games. And I think then things started to turn, and I think we just got better and better.
I think that's why a lot of people now, and can I just say, like, you must have heard, like, it must be impossible to completely get rid of the noise when you're in the position you are at the beginning of the season and you're not winning games, and you know that people are saying Fulham are gone, Fulham are done, that's it, that's their season written off. Do you use it as some sort of a what's the word? Motivation, really, to just say, like, you guys have written us off already. Like, and we know, like you're saying, we're coming close to these results.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. I remember after the Aston Villa game at home, I think Jamie Carragher said, Fulham are gone. I remember that.
I remember it, yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah. We did speak about that a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I don't know if he's going to hear this.
Don't worry. I'll tell him. No, really.
But yeah, I think we did hear that, and obviously, yeah, it's annoying as you professionals are, and you don't really want to hear that about you or the team. So, yeah, it'd be nice if we get out of this situation and we can say to Jamie, there you go.
To be honest, like you kind of already given him a little bit because you beat Liverpool at Anfield and Jamie was at that game. And funnily enough, when we were doing the pieces for Sky, one of the questions I wanted to ask him was, have you changed your opinion? And I didn't quite get to it because there was like, we just ran out of time, and now I'm so annoyed. But it was on my list. It was on my list to say, like, you literally said they were dead and buried and they were gone, and have you changed your mind, basically? But I think there's something really nice in that you've got such respectable performances, and you're coming so close to it, and now those wins are starting to come because you've had so many draws as well.
Crazy how many draws we've had. Crazy.
Mad. Can I ask you as well? So obviously we sort of touched a little bit on Ademola Lookman and that penalty.
Yeah.
And at the time, he got a lot of stick as well. So there were people saying, you're a loanee, you shouldn't be doing things like that. This is, you're playing with people's livelihoods here. I mean, I imagine that wasn't obviously what was going through his head at the time. Like, what was the reaction afterwards between the teammates?
Yeah, it was walking in the dressing room. He was very apologetic. He apologised to the players and the staff. I remember, I'm sorry, what Mum was saying. He did, and it was. I think the manager had a little word with him and said, like, kind of, you can miss, but you can't miss like that. I think that's what he basically was in a nice way. But honestly, the day after that, it was forgot about. And football, honestly, it's literally like you have an argument or a row one day, but the next day it's gone. And things happen too quickly. And in fairness to Ademola, like, he's been amazing for us this season. I think that shows what kind of character he is, what strength of character he's got, because no doubt he'd have got a lot of stick after the game from outside people, fans or whatever. He'd got a lot of tweets. And he didn't let it bother him one bit, and he's came back and done what he's done for us this season.
Yeah. Also, Scott Parker. So how different is it when he is your teammate and then becomes your manager?
Yeah.
What changes? Does he suddenly tell you to do something one day and you're like, what? And then you go, oh, I have to do it.
Yeah, I suppose it is. It is strange because you share a dressing room with someone. I played with him for 2 years, which is quite. He was my captain, and when he wasn't playing, I was captain. So it was weird. Yeah, I think. And we used to we always used to sit next to each other or near each other, having like pre-match meals and dinner and stuff, and we used to play together. So you talk about, like, I don't know, you might talk about the games or the X Factor. I'm sorry, get me out of here. I don't know, but like, as soon as he becomes manager, I think that changes a little bit. You can't say, "Oh, Gaffer, did you watch this last night?" Or, do you know what I mean? It's more of like a bit of a respect thing. You don't call him Scotty anymore. You call him Gaffer. Just little things like that is a bit weird when you played with someone, but yeah, it's all right.
Have you noticed that he has had to? The only way I can think of something similar is like when, me working at Sky for 11 years and someone who has always been on the same level as you then gets a promotion and becomes your producer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have to kind of, it's like, it's the same kind of thing. You can't sit together in the canteen anymore.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to have a different level of respect. Did the way that he spoke to you change as well?
I suppose the good thing about Scotty was because he'd done so much in his career, I think everyone showed him that respect anyway. Because he played for England, Tottenham, Chelsea, and like we was in the Championship, we've not done what he's done, so we're kind of seeing him as that kind of figure anyway, if you know what I mean. Like if you ever spoke, everyone listened, or if he walked in a room, it was just a bit different. So I think the transition was okay because of that reason, if you know what I mean. Because we kind of already seen him above us anyway, so it was it was all right.
You mentioned a little bit international caps and things like that. Scotty playing for England. You play for Scotland.
Yes.
And so far 2 caps.
Yeah.
I imagine in your career you're hoping to get more.
Yeah. I just think, it's been. I suppose I think there was times I was playing where I was hoping I'd get called up more than I did, but I suppose it's football, and I think the strongest part of Scotland probably is the midfield. So I think, there's a lot of players fighting for the same positions. But look, they've just done an amazing thing of qualifying for the Euros. So, I can't really say too much, but hopefully have an amazing tournament.
Does that give you motivation, though, that you can get back to fitness, not just kind of work your way back to full fitness for Fulham, but potentially like put your hand up and get included?
Of course, I think, imagine going to that, it'd be some event, especially after the last year we've had. I'd love to. I think international level is the pinnacle of anyone's career. So, if I'm lucky enough to be in the squad, then amazing. But I think I've got to climb back up the ladder first.
And I suppose your ultimate priority at the moment is Fulham and making sure you get back to full fitness and Fulham stay in the league. So how confident is it? Because the other thing that I took from the weekend at Anfield was that it just feels like I interviewed Harrison Reed afterwards, and I said to him, it just feels like for some time the momentum has now been with Fulham as opposed to the teams around, especially on that day on Sunday with Newcastle dropping points and Brighton, you were level with them at that point as well. They were just above you on goal difference. So does it feel like the momentum is with you, and do you have that heart that you're going to stay up?
I feel like, we have got a little bit of momentum, especially especially the way we're playing. I think we're in every game against top side as well. We could have we should have maybe got a point against Tottenham the other night because the handball was...
Yeah. Oh, how hard was that to take? The next day they're like, we're going to change that rule. Don't worry about
it. I was in the stand watching the game, so I didn't really get to see what everyone got to see at home. But then after the game, when I seen a picture of it, I was like, what? I can't, honestly, we don't get much luck in this league, I swear. Yeah. But yeah, we should have got a point against Tottenham. It was amazing against Chelsea until the sending off. We was close against Man U, so it's literally like, I think we have had a good momentum even against the top side. So as I said, it's still a long way to go. We're still in the bottom three. I know it's goal difference, but we're still in the relegation zone. So but I believe we've got enough to get out of it.
Last day of the season, you're going to play Newcastle. They come to you, Craven Cottage, and you might have fans as well. So that might be the one and only game you can have fans, and it could mean everything.
That could literally be another playoff final.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is mad, but hopefully we'll be safe by then. That's what in my head I'm praying for. But I bet Sky would love it if it's not like that and it goes to the final day and they can get all drama going and stuff like that.
I'll put up my hand, I'll say, I'll go, I'll report there.
Literally.
Might not be me.
It's all right for you lot.
I know. I actually did do your game the day you got relegated, and it was against Newcastle, wasn't it? The season before last.
Yeah, the last game of the season. Yeah.
That was the last game of the season again, wasn't it? And obviously it wasn't a very happy time. Rafa
Newcastle at home as well. So weird.
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it? Yeah. That's only just... Wow, how spooky. But anyway, look, this time it could be completely different. You could be sending them down. Obviously, that's not what we want to see. My dad's a Newcastle fan. He listens to this, so sorry, Dad, sorry. But, I mean, the thought of having fans there, even for one game this season, do you feel like you know how there's some teams, you look at like Sheffield United and you think you've really suffered, and Liverpool to an extent as well at Anfield now that they're going on this run where they can't win there. Do you feel like you guys have really missed them?
Yeah, I think promotion teams need them a little bit, especially at home. Coming in, I think you need like the little 1%, every little 1%, 2% you can get, and I think home fans make that. They might have turned a few draws into wins. Who knows? You know what I mean, it's sort of ifs and buts. But I think when you come up, I think you just need that extra boost at home. So I think Leeds as well. Leeds would have been, not that they've had an amazing season anyway, but I think they'd have been amazing for the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely. You do notice sometimes where you can be kind of dragged over the line a little bit by your fans, especially like you say with Leeds. Really important question to finish off with. Someone has told me this, and I just need you to tell me if it's true, that you're a big fan of Justin Bieber.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Is it really true? Have you been to see him?
Yeah, of course. Third row was I? Second row, something like that.
Are you serious? How many times have you seen him?
Only a couple. I'm not like a super fan.
Only a couple?
Yeah.
Twice?
Yeah.
I mean, twice is more than zero, isn't it?
Yeah, twice. No, I like his music. I think a lot of people like his music, no?
I like his new music.
Okay, so you're on about when you young. Yeah.
Wait, when did you start being his fan? Were you his fan when he was young? Yeah, you are, aren't you? Since day one, yeah. Got it.
I'm a believer.
Say no more. I get it. That's absolutely fine. Tell me now, do you put it on in the changing room?
Sometimes, yeah. But the boys like it. The boys like it.
Bet they do. See, everyone thinks like footballers are really cool, but they're not. They're all believers. Listen, Tom, thank you so much. I know you've got stuff to do. You've got to go look after your 1-year-old son.
No, you do me a favour. Can we just talk about something else?
Yeah, I know, yeah. So tell me again about that season. Thank you so much. And honestly, Bayo will be so gutted that he's missed this.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to send him a message? What would you like to say to him?
No, I just hope he's recovering well. And I know he's, you know what I mean? I hope he's... how did it go on last night, actually?
They lost last night, and I don't think he
lost
played.
1-0, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
No, I just hope he's good and recovering well, because he's a big boy.
Yeah, he is a big boy. He needs more recovery time, right? And a much larger ice bath.
Yeah.
Tom, thank you so much. Good luck with your own recovery. We look forward to seeing you back there ASAP, potentially for the Manchester City game.
Maybe.
Baptism of fire, straight back into it. Tom, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
There you go. That is it. Tom Cairney, this week's guest. A brilliant interview. Really, really enjoyed that. And like I say, we do wish him a speedy recovery. That first game back could be Manchester City. So we keep our fingers crossed for him. It's time now to look at the Super 6 fixtures for round 42. Just a reminder, download the Super 6 app, create an account and play for free by predicting the scores of 6 chosen matches, being with a chance of winning £250 this week. And it does happen, because it has happened. Someone out there has actually won £250,000. So Jeff currently is going through the phone book and looking for that winner and finding out who it is. So there you go, it does happen. So if you enter, it could be you next time. Right, prediction time. We've now got 6 fixtures to predict to. It's just going to be me at the moment because obviously there's no Bayo, so it's me against myself this week. So here we go, I'm going to go through it. Crystal Palace taking on West Brom. I'm going to go for a Palace win. They've been battered a little bit lately, but I do think that they're going to bounce back. Even though West Brom are a little bit more solid than they were, I still think Palace are going to win this one 1-0. Okay, next one is Bournemouth taking on Barnsley. Barnsley have got like 7 wins in a row at the moment. At the time I'm recording at the moment, they're playing tonight. So they're going to play Derby. So that could be 8 wins or it could be a loss or whatever. But I still think, despite the fact Bournemouth are unbeaten in the last 3, I'm going to go for a Barnsley win this one. I'm going to say 1-0. I think it's going to be a little bit tight. So, yeah, I'm going to go Barnsley win 1-0. Next one is Cardiff taking on Watford. That one I'm going to say 2-1 to Cardiff. And that's only because Cardiff have got such a good record at the moment, unbeaten in the last 11. So a Cardiff win there. Forest taking on Reading. I'm going to go for a Reading win in this one, 2-0 against Forest. Forest, even though they're starting to kind of catch up with themselves, I still think Reading are going to be the stronger outfit out of the two of those. Then we've got Borough taking on Stoke. This one's really difficult, 9th against 10th. I struggled with this one a bit. I'm going to say a 1-0 win for Borough, though. And then Derby are taking on Millwall. I'm going to say 2-1 to Millwall. Okay, that is it for another week. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much also to our guest, Tom Cairney. Absolutely brilliant. Always love catching up with him. Next week, Bayo Akinfenwa is going to be back. I might just take a week off, to be honest. I might just make him do all the work because I've done the heavy lifting this week. We're on Twitter and Instagram as well, just to remind you, at Super6 if you want to follow us. And if you are enjoying this, hit the like and subscribe. And then the podcast basically automatically downloads each week, so it can just come straight into your downloads. You don't have to worry about it. And if you feel like it, give us a 5-star rating. We're not Bayo Akinfenwa because he's not here this week. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Thanks for keeping me company. See you next time.